Okay, carbides. A carbide is a compound formed when carbon combines with a more electropositive element, such as metal, or a less electronegative non-metals, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, sulfur, and halogen. Also, we can define carbide or binary compounds of carbon, in which carbon is attached with less electronegative elements than itself are called carbides. Hence, compounds of carbon with more electropositive element, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, sulfur, and halogen, do not belong to carbides. There are following types of carbides: ionic or salt-like carbides, industrial or metallic carbides, covalent carbides. Ionic or salt-like carbides, these are simple compounds of carbon with more electropositive element in the group third and group second. For example, beryllium, calcium, aluminum, ionic carbides are prepared by heating metal or oxide of metal or hydride of metal is heated. Calcium oxide and carbon reacted calcium carbide, and beryllium oxide in carbon beryllium carbide, aluminum in carbon aluminum carbide. Ionic carbides are formed in crystal form and non-conductor of electricity. When ionic carbides is hydrolyzed, converted into hydrocarbon. For example, calcium carbide is hydrolyzed to produce acetylene. Interstitial or metallic carbides, the carbide in which carbon atom occupy the interstitial space of metallic lattice are called interstitial space. Stable carbides are generally formed by the transition metals in which the octahedral holes are larger. For example, titanium, vanadium, zirconium, tantalum, tungsten, molybdenum, etc. However, the smaller transition metals like scandium, ferrous, cobalt, nickel, chromium, etc. do not form stable carbides. This is because these metals have smaller octahedral holes to accommodate carbon atoms. If all the octahedral holes are occupied by carbon atoms, then it forms stoichiometric carbide. Normally, non-stoichiometric carbides are formed having the structural formula nearly metal carbon or metal to carbon. Industrial carbides are extremely high melting points and are therefore typically infusible. They possess very high mechanical strength and are extremely hard. Hence, they are used in cutting tools and lathe machines, for example, tungsten carbide and tantalum carbide. Covalent carbide, silicon carbide. Certain carbon covalently bonded with elements of same electronegative elements with the carbon or slightly higher than the carbon atom. For example, silicon and carbon, silicon carbide, boron carbon, boron carbide. Covalent carbides are two types, that is, one kind of carbides which contains small and discrete molecule, and another kinds of carbides which is giant molecule, for example, silicon carbides. Silicon carbide has three-dimensional giant structure in which one atom is tetrahedral surrounded by four atoms of the another kind.